Hey, I'm back. This is my desk, and I just wanted to show you a few things that I have going on here. I have glass on top and have my pictures underneath the glass, but I have a few that I wanted to share that's not under the glass. This photo here is a photo of my mother, and this would be our oldest brother, Gerald, and myself, my sister Linda, and brothers Ricky, and our youngest brother, Jerry. And this is my mother here. She was also known as Nana, Mima, or Mama. Beautiful lady. In this photo right here, we were at one of my brother's home having a barbecue, and I took this picture. It was just perfect. And she basically was just sitting and she was watching all of us get our photos done. And just a little story about her and her sitting. For example, we would be at the fair or at Disneyland, and Mom would be with me walking around, and I would turn and she was gone. And I'd have to backtrack and go see where my mom was at. And believe it or not, I would just catch her and she was just sitting. She said she loved to watch the people pass her by. And in the 50s, our father and our Uncle Doc built this log cabin here. And this is my oldest brother, Gerald. And he was probably around 11 or 12 at the time. And this is the log cabin. And where my thumb is there, that was a second portion of the log cabin, and that was called the A-frame. And this is our mother here, and she actually was standing in front of the A-frame. She had two children, so she would be, she married at a very young age, and so she would probably be around 16 in this photo here. But this is the A-frame. Over here is a gentleman, and our grandmother lived here in California, and this gentleman would bring her to Oklahoma to visit with us, and she had a camera, so at that time is when she would take pictures of all her grandchildren and family. This is my youngest sister, Linda, and myself, and I'm wearing the cowgirl boots, and that's another story for another day. This picture right here is actually part of the log cabin, and this was built probably in the 50s, and we lived here for a little over 10 years, and it was on the 10 acres. My mom and myself as an infant, and in this one here, Mom liked to do a lot of traveling. She was a nurse at one of the local hospitals for 35 years, and on her weekends, she would grab her pillow, her purse, and a small bag, and she'd be heading out to her car, and I'm like, Mom, where are you going? And she says, well, I just don't know. I'll be heading north, east, south, or west, and when I get there, I'll let you know. She had a companion, and he traveled with her, and they went along the coast of the West Coast here in California, and she loved to visit all of the missions. This photo here was actually taken up in Flagstaff, and you can see a little bit of snow in the background. This is our father here in the younger days, and he died. He passed away from a heart attack, and he was in his mid-50s. This is our father here, and our Uncle Doc, and he is in the darker overalls, and this was probably made, photo was probably made about, I'm going to say in the early 40s. This one here is two of my brothers with our mother, just hanging out and sitting. This is our father's mother, and this is my Grandma Pope. She was my mentor, and I have a lot of memories of her, and that also too is another story. This is her youngest son, and this is our Uncle Doc, and that was his nickname because any animal or any child or anyone that had any type of need of medical care. He actually just happened to have that little bit of talent, and he loved taking care of all of us. This is our mother here, and she's in the dark shorts, and she was in her teens, and this is her second child. He had polio, and when he recovered, he was sent to a rehabilitation. He was approximately 5, and a window was left open. He caught a high fever, and he actually passed away from pneumonia. He was just a beautiful little blonde with lots of curly hair. Here's another picture of my mother as a very young woman. This would be her first child, and you could tell she had a very young face. So sweet. Over here is Mom, and my sister took her home for her last trip. She went to Georgia, and they traveled by car over to Oklahoma and Texas. And in this photo here is actually where the log cabin was. And there was some kids that, there was a trailer that was on the property of the 10 acres, and some children had some matches playing with them, and they actually burnt down the log cabin, and the A-frame had already been destroyed. This is the foundation. It looks awful small, but the house was very well built. Here in the background is actually a cellar, and let me show you this one here. This is what was left of the cellar, and it still is there today. The fire was in probably the mid to late 70s, and I never got to see the log cabin as an adult or a young person. I just don't remember being over there, but it had burnt in December, and we were there in May around Memorial Weekend. But we did get to walk around on the foundation and on the grounds. Over here is a really cool picture. This is, everybody knows, it's an outhouse. This was at our Grandma Pope's house and Uncle Doc's. So when we would go over, there definitely was an old Sears catalog that was hanging on the side of the outhouse, and you know what that was used for. Lots of memories at her home when we would go and visit. And this photo here is part of the 10 acres, and this is our older brother Jack, whom we lost in June, and this is my brother Gerald, and I'm the youngest one there. And this was taken probably in the later 50s. I would have probably, maybe little mid-50s. I would have been probably around 4, maybe close to 5. Up here is really cute. My feet. It was a hot, sunny day. Anyway, this is my husband, Steve, and myself on our wedding day. Him in his younger years, our son and daughter. And this one here is my mother and my 2 daughters. My youngest one was born in San Diego at Sharps Memorial Hospital, and she was very ill and had to be put into a special unit. She had a lot of IVs, and as you can see, there's a little styrofoam cup that they cut in half, and it was placed over her shaved head because she had a lot of IVs in her head. She's was only about 4 or 5 days old there, and my other daughter, Melissa, would have been about 12 years of age. Here's another fun photo. I just love this. This one here is my great-grandson that we have guardianship of, and if you've seen some of my shorts or some of the videos, this is Turtle, and my sister and I do a lot of genealogy, and we have discovered that We are Native American, Chickamauga, and Turtle was named after one of my ancestors, a chief, and because he is autistic, nonverbal, and because he was just a little bit slow. So I thought Turtle would be an appropriate name for him. And I love this photo because it shows the hands of the young and the hands of an old woman. And I'm the old lady. Anyway, these are just a few of my little photos here. And I really enjoy my desk. And if you remember, this was my new laptop here. And I just pull out my drawer, flip it down, and my chair up here. I can look at my family photos. And I have thousands of photos because I was doing a lot of scanning. And I put them on in files, and I'm working on that now. I'm getting ready to start printing off some of the black and white photos and some of the photos of us 5 children, or I should say us 4 and my niece. And I will be giving my niece photos first, and then I'll be doing prints of the other black and whites for other family members, my brothers and sisters. And I probably have already scanned over 3,000 photos. And then I took the photos and I did a lot of separations, put them in boxes, and I gave them away. So I've gone from about 15, 20 boxes, and I'm down to 1 box which holds a lot of pictures of myself, and I'll let the family, my children and grandchildren, they can pick through them and pick out whatever they want. But my husband helps us with the genealogy, and if you have a lot of photos, buy yourself a scanner, and you can scan them, you can file them, you can save them, you can print them, you can put them on thumb drives, DVDs, provide them for other family members. And I should have taken all of these black and whites, and I should have shared them with my family many, many years ago. And for some reason, they just got put aside when our mother passed in 2008. And I'm almost done at one point, and then I'll start another phase. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe, give me a thumbs up, share with your family and friends, and feel free to leave comments. And don't forget to hit that little bell, and I'll be having many videos on other subjects. And you can also catch a lot of information on my sister's channels. She is 6 Acres Farm, and she also has a second channel, which is Little Wendy's Daydreaming. Don't forget, thumbs up, hit the little bell, subscribe, share family and friends, and leave me a little comment. Till the next time.